Oh, look at home profile and stuff. That'll work. View one channel. That's so much nicer. There's that live. Alright, cool. I'm in all the lives. TikTok's trying to glitch up pretty good. This sucks. Alright, so I'm gonna kill. I'll leave the Bluetooth on. Who cares? What's on here? Why are you messing up? Literally, right when I go to hop in here to try to check out your guys' comments. There we go. There we go. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but we're not. Needs to quit. What is this? Sorry, trying to figure something out. TikToks. Holy crap, man. I don't know what's going on with TikTok on the laptop, but man, it's going nuts. Okay. Jeez. That was a pain in the neck. Close that thing out. Alright, what's up everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Now, let's get back to work. What I'm going to do today is work on some half-inch flex and some RG400. What I work on first is really your guys' choice. You guys can vote. You can say it. You can put it in the comments. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And then I'll build whatever coax you want to build. For the guys on Facebook, for the guys on TikTok and everything else. Let me know. So let's go ahead and move these out the way. These right here have to slide on the wire. Something like that. What I'll do a lot of times is I'll throw an extra zip tie on these pieces. Let's zoom over to the left for TikTok. Looks like you need to go to the right a little bit. Alright. There's always some goofy folks out there. Alright, next we're going to put this on here. What's up, Fred? What's up, EJ? What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. What's up, Dan? Frank, hope you're doing well. Hello, hello. Alright. I'm just taking this right here, set it aside. You guys are not voting for it, so we're going to do the smaller stuff to start with. I'll do the bigger stuff later. So, that was half-inch flex, what you saw right there. And what you're going to see here is going to be 1, 2, 3, that's a third. I need another one over there. One. We'll start with it. If you guys are not familiar, this is a type of coaxial cable. Coaxial cable is used for lots of type of communications. So what it does is allow a signal to be transferred from point A to point B. It's called a feed line a lot of times. Alright, so let's get to work. Maybe I will. Let me know if it's glitching up there. The difference in different types of Helix brands, two different types. There's not two different types of Helix brands specifically. There is different types of hardline brand. So there's definitely different manufacturing standards and stuff between the different companies. So it just depends on what you're looking for, really. I've got some Amphenol cable, I got some Andrew cable, and then I got some Nokia cable. All of them are fine. Nokia is probably going to be a little bit harder to get a hold of now. because just everything changing and stuff. But yeah, we'll kind of see how this goes little by little. Wave a hand, man. Hope you're doing well. It's late. It's not the best time for all this stuff to show up, but it is what it is. I've got a ton of stuff to get done. I'm heading to Walterboro Mud Duck Break come this weekend. I'm bringing some hats and bringing some shirts. So if you guys show up, if you remember the slogan, I've only got a couple of them available. I think a couple hats and a couple shirts. Nothing crazy. Alright. That's everything's getting prepped for tomorrow. We're leaving out tomorrow, I guess afternoon or so, and heading that way. So I'll see you guys then. Hello, hello. Hope you guys on TikTok are doing well and you can understand what we're doing. I think I'm going to zoom in real quick for you guys to see a little bit better what we're doing over here. So you up and over and down, something like that. Looks to be pretty good. And looks like Facebook and YouTube is in a pretty good spot too. So this is a double braided jacket, so it's a little harder to pick apart by hand. So that's why you see me using a pick. Anybody who knows anything about braids would know this already. But me, I didn't know a lot about braids, so I figured out about this later on. Now I've picked apart single braids, but when you got a double braid like this, 2 different layers, it's definitely more difficult. All right, I'll hop over here. Any more questions? Y'all feel free to ask. As far as the different brands, I didn't actually answer your question. There's no real difference according to the data sheets themselves. The quality control is up to the particular manufacturer themselves. Some are known to be better than others, or expected to be better than others by their name, but that doesn't necessarily make them better. That just means they have a reputation for being better. It doesn't make them actually better. Right, so, getting some RG400 prepped. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to get done, but I'm doing small stuff right now because I'm running on fumes, and I've got a few things that I got to get done. I didn't go live yesterday, but I spent all night yesterday working on some stuff. So you guys missed out on the fun. I can't go live on everything, but man, it was the longest night I've had to spend in a while out here working. Alright, so let's check you guys' next comments going through here. YouTube, what you guys got to say. D-Man, hope you're doing well. Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate you. You're cool. If you make it to the Mud Duck Break, I'll see you there. If not, or the Low Country Mud Duck Break, I'll see you there. That's not the Mud Duck on 19 for the guys that hop in and out of here. He just stole that name from other people. I wonder if there's a mosquito in here. I think I've seen it. Let me look. No, it's just a gnat. We're good. We will be having some serious be working out some exorcisms to knock out these daggone mosquitoes if they come in here. We're not playing mosquito game. Let me try hopping over on TikTok, see what you guys have to say. If you guys got questions, if you'd like to know more about what we're doing, if you want to know what the heck I'm building right here, if you're still reeling from the weekend and still don't understand what the heck a key down is, then feel free to ask. Like I said, all that stuff is perfectly reasonable to ask. Waving a hand, 178. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, copy that. Hey, what's up, 955? Hope you're doing well, man. You're famous now in that red truck. I think it's gotten up to, between all the red truck videos, probably about 500,000 of you out there. figured you'd get a kick out of that other piece I sent you. That was funny. What did he do? Alright, so... Awesome, man. That's cool. Let me see. I'm in a pretty good spot on Facebook and YouTube. Let me check TikTok real quick, see how you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see pretty good, but we'll zoom in a little bit for you. Let you guys see a little closer. I can't really zoom in on the Facebook crew. Maybe I can a little bit. Let's see if I can get away with it. Turn it back that way. There we go. Should be alright. What's up, sir? Hope you're doing well. What's up, J Chef? Again, Pat. All you guys, hope you guys are doing well. Can you copy that? You do what you want. Yeah, exactly. I know. I just thought it was hilarious. Yeah, you can do whatever the heck you want to. It don't matter. I just thought that was funny. It's like somebody seeing like their old classic car or something. What's up? What's going on? These young bucks nowadays. She wasn't that young. I don't think she was that. Was that old? But I just thought it was funny. Sky that booger up. She ain't got nothing to say. You bought it. Alright, so what's up? Hope you're doing well, Smokestack. We're heading to the low country break in Walterboro, South Carolina. I'll be there not very long. I'll be there late Friday night and Saturday morning. After that, I'll be heading back. We got to make roll call. We can't be missing roll call. So, Cletus is going out there with me. Copy that. Yeah, the Low Country Mud break. It's just a little one day break. It's in Walterboro, South Carolina. I don't know, but Truck's there, and some other 28 guys are there, so it's pretty cool. It's I won't be there for very long, unfortunately. I wish I could stay longer, but there's just too many projects. I've got some crazy rides planned, and I can't take you guys along, so it definitely makes it a little bit more boring when I'm busy all weekend doing all kinds of stuff and you guys can't even hang out for it. Whatever, it's part of it. Let's just say big things are happening in the background, guys. Alright, we're losing a little bit of heat for some reason. Maybe this is not up. Yeah, that's what it is. Figured it out. Anything before Joliet? I don't know. There's a lot of times there's one in on Memorial Day weekend, but I don't freaking know what's going on, to be honest. 5-foot jumper? Yes, fine. It's fine. Well, RG400 help with LED noise? Not necessarily. LED noise is going to be a superimposed signal, so that's going to be coming from something else making the noise. So ideally, you want to try to knock out the noise maker. Now, is having a double shielded wire a good thing? Yeah, sure. It's absolutely a good thing, but it's not one of those things that necessarily stops other bad actors out there. So when you got a noisy power supply, the ideal thing is to filter the power supply or replace the power supply. Other questions? What do you guys say? 5-foot jumper will work. It's not the best by any means, but it will absolutely work. I like to do, whenever I'm doing coax and stuff like that for any jumpers and stuff, I like to do velocity factor. The goal in any situation is to make the coax as close to invisible as possible. It's not to put the coax together or jumper in together as part of the tuned antenna system. It's to make the coax as close to invisible to the system as it possibly can be. So whenever you're doing that, it's supposed to be feed line transferring signal from point A to point B. It's not supposed to be modifying the impedance in any way. Alright, let me hop over here and let me get some more solder joints real quick, then I'll hop over real quick. More questions on TikTok. A bunch of you guys hopping in and out, so I can't really say respond to your guys' questions. The other guys who asked questions on TikTok, ask them again, because I can't scroll back through all the people joining to your question. If you guys are, like I said, curious and want to know about the key downs and stuff, then we'll go back in that conversation, because it seemed like a lot of you guys were enjoying that. If you guys would like to see a swap meet, I'll show you guys a swap meet this coming weekend, and we'll talk about, of course, the next upcoming events. I am going to be going to a ham fest, so if anybody wants to see that side of the world, I'll show you guys that. A lot of guys get confused at what my company is. I'm an RF supply company, so any type of communications field, I deal with it. Alright, this one's done. Move on to the next one. This is going to be donation number 1 for the Walterboro, South Carolina break. I'm doing 2 of these, and then of course I got more jumpers to build for other jobs. But we're doing 2 jumpers for Walterboro, South Carolina. So if you go to the Low Country break, you have a chance at winning these. I think I'm just donating to the club, so they'll be able to have whatever raffles, whatever events, whatever thing they're going to do with it. They're going to have that. So that's just something else for them to do. I will also have hats and shirts in Walterboro. If you remember to say the slogan and you catch me before I run out, then you will get a shirt or a hat. It will be your pick. If you miss it, then meet me at the next event. This year I should be at Joliet. I should be in Cleveland, Ohio. I have a base station, CD radio's been repaired. It has a hotspot inside of it. As long as it works and you got it back working good, then it's fine. Baofang for the wing. Baofang's fine. It ain't no big deal. Cost on 18-foot unit. 18-foot wouldn't be specifically the one you'd want to go with, but you definitely could get one. Length of dipole for 6 meters. So dipole depends on what wavelength your actual dipole is gonna be. But typically you want to do a half wave, so a 6 meter would be 3 meters long. So that's how it would work out. So in a situation like that, your full length would work out to be, say if you have like a half wave dipole, it's literally half a wavelength. So you take 6 meters, it's 3 meters long. So if you wanted to figure out that from meters to feet, it's 3.2808. That is the conversion from meters to feet. So basically just under 3.3. So if you was to figure that math out, it'd put you at 9 something feet is what your dipole would end up being at 6 meters. Alright, so do you sell my jumpers on Facebook? I do. I sell my jumpers on the website. There is a whole tutorial on how you can build and get your jumpers. It's dwinsrfsupply.com right here. You can order it that way, or you can just message me on Facebook and I will respond to you from there, and we'll build a custom jumper however you want to build it. If you want to do your own order, you can do it off the website, and there's a whole tutorial on how to do that. I have velocity factor jumpers, but they're mono-banded for a lot of the truckers and stuff, people who drive up and down the road. I can do a velocity factor for 6 meter. I can do velocity factor for 2 meter. I can do velocity factor for any other frequency. But velocity factor is a mono-banded setup. If you want to run multi-banded, then you're just going to have to make your load as purely resistive as possible. Let me hop back over here real quick and see what you guys said. 111 sounds good. Waving a hand, 111. Hope you're doing well, man. Next on here, saw D-Man's response. Go back to TikTok. One thing about timing announcements. 18 is the link. Yeah, you can do 18. That's fine. That ain't the end of the world. It would work. Oh yeah, I think somebody was messaging me on my business page on Facebook. I'll respond to you after the live is over. If somebody in here had messaged me. 18 foot, yes, you can pick any specific given length you want. You're talking about minuscule differences, especially at lower power ranges and stuff. When you start increasing power, those small percentages turn into much bigger percentages. So whenever you start getting the transmitters and things like that, broadcast stations and stuff, you want to kind of get into other things to try to mitigate RF. All right, so I need my tip. It's way over here. If you give me a little bit more context about your question on the 6-meter antenna, I'll try to help you. See if I can let you know. What else? Anybody else saying some other stuff? You guys got 5, up 6 back? Hope you're doing well, man. If you guys got any questions, y'all feel free to ask me some more. As soon as you give me a little bit of a rephrase on that 6-meter, I'll see if I can help you out. So what we're doing, some RG400 jumpers. These are going to be giveaway for the Low Country Mud Duck event. That's going to be in Walterboro, South Carolina. I'll do a live there where you guys can see like the goodie tables and stuff like that. They will have some HF stuff, but they'll have mostly CB stuff because it is a CB event. Now, if you want to see some more HF stuff, you'll see it at like Dayton. I should, if everything goes well, I should be able to make Dayton this year. I missed Hamcation. I was in Hawaii, so it happened. It is what it is. I'll try not to miss Hamcation next year, if possible. Midland's GMRS antenna significantly better in center of roof or attached to bumper. Center of the roof, any antenna, doesn't matter what antenna it is. If it's GMRS, FRF, if it's 2 meter, if it's 10 meter, if it's 6 meter, whatever frequency. It needs a counterpoise. The counterpoise it needs is going to be at least given to the same length as what it is. So if you have a quarter wave antenna, at a minimum you want to have a quarter wave counterpoise. So if you're up in 10 meter or 11 meter or something like that, you're going to need 100 inch by 100 inch by 100 inch or so on 11 meter cross section below the antenna. If you're on 6 meter or so, you would need somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 50 something inches, maybe a little bit longer. I'd have to figure out the exact math to figure out what I would recommend for that one. But yeah, you have to have counterpoise below the antenna for the antenna to have proper feed point impedance. Otherwise, you have what's called common mode current, and you have a lot of stray RF that's transmitting on the exterior shield of coax. Alright, let's hop over here on Facebook. What you guys got for questions? You guys ain't asking me nothing. Y'all feel free to ask. It don't hurt my feelings, man. TikTok's over here asking a bunch of questions. Give me some more MR. Yeah, you can get someone 1K50s yourself. They actually got a 2K model out there now, so you can get one of those too. They have a 1.8 and I think a 2.1 kW model. I don't know if they've released a newer one yet. Yeah, good devices. Nothing wrong with them. Especially for a good little all mode if you put some filters in it. Alright, we'll heat this bugger up. I think I got like a 188 XR in the back, and then I got some 300s. But I don't really sell stuff like that. I suppose I could, but I mean, realistically, you can just get them online. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I don't want to be a transistor supplier because you get too many people that want to install something improperly and they want to blame you. They want to have a high feed point impedance. They want to have a bad mismatch on their load. They want to drive too much drive into their LD MOS. And then they blow it up, and then they come back to you and tell you, hey, this thing's blown, I need you to warranty it. Well, there is no warranty on transistors, especially if you put them in yourself. That's with any builder. I don't know of any builder that has ever warranted transistors, not for at least 30 years. But I suppose you could try. Now, if you buy a completed unit, sure, they got to cover their unit. But even then, there's nuance depending on who builds it. Can't see where my camera angle's at. That's the only thing bad about TikTok. It freezes my junk. Built a 5 kW about 2 months ago with sticks. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. They got some 8 devices out there now. It's a good angle there. Everything's good on that one. Let's click play and see what happens. We do actually play. Yeah, I think the biggest that I've seen properly combined, I mean, Nautel's got some 50 kW units that you could get, but they're, of course, only good for 80 meter pretty much. Now, does anybody run 50 kW on 80 meter? I don't know. I guess you need to talk to some of the 80 meter guys. A lot of guys was fussing about watts. Alright. Let's go next. What kind of coax cable am I working on? This is RG400 right here. I'll be working on some some half-inch flex next. This is half-inch flex right here. I'll be working on that one after this. Alright. So I'm going to be one more end. I'll have this finished, and then I've got a bunch more to do, but it's just whatever. It's not going to happen today. I've got to hit the sack this evening. I've got more work to do tomorrow, and then sometime tomorrow afternoon I'm heading out to Walterboro. So it's got to be slightly rested up for that to say hello, because I hadn't done nothing for the past couple of days. I was busy hot-potting. I hot-potted and tested thoroughly a bunch of my tubes that I had. I had some 3CX3000s, I had some 1500s, had some 3-1000s, some 4-1000s, some 4-400As, some 3500Zs, some 3CX800s. I don't know, all kinds of tubes. A good portion of them are already sold. But I will have more here some later. Alright, so I don't know if you're on the Bluetooth or if you're on but if you're conservative with the left row. Yeah, for sure. You can't push the biggest thing with LDMOS is not really the actual output power. You can make a 100 kW LDMOS if you really wanted to, if you have the right type of combiner network. The problem you're going to come into is the input drive. Input drive is the #1 killer of a MOSFET because it's got such high gain. And then also not having proper current limiting on your power supply. If you don't have a proper shutdown on the power supply for it to go over a certain amount of current, then you'll smoke the devices quick. Because they got so much gain, they'll just take off and run and go. And you can't do that. Not with a device that will damage itself. But now, operated safely, sure, you'll have excellent SWR for a long time. Operated safely, you'll have excellent power for a long period of time. So, go to the next step. All I have right now is BLF 188XRs. Yeah, I got some 188s. I don't have any 1K50s, nor do I have the 1K80s or the 2.1Ks, I believe. I don't remember the part number on the 2.1. Maybe 2.0. I don't remember at the moment. Again, we're working on RG400 right here. If you guys don't know what that stuff is, that's coaxial cable. I think the lives are getting better. You guys are getting a little bit more into this and figuring out more about it. That's well. All right. Now, we'll see. I'm going to try to catch you guys on Facebook, make sure I'm not ignoring you guys. What's up, Jason? Hope you're doing well, man. YouTube. YouTube. You guys are, there's a bunch of you guys in YouTube. Y'all need to say something. Say hello on YouTube. Somebody just say hello. I don't care who you are. If you say hello, I'll call you by name. Whatever. You guys on I appreciate all you guys hopping in here and hanging out on YouTube. It's appreciated. I was talking to the guys on TikTok a while ago, but I want to hop over here and try to say hello to you guys, because I don't know. You guys don't get to comment a lot, and it seems like I don't give YouTube the love that it needs. You guys are cool. Alright, whatever. You ran it away. I'll go back to talking to TikTok. Hello, Fro-Code and K1ERL. Hope you're doing well. We're working on some RG400 right here. This is just some jumpers right here. Two of them are going to be a giveaway for the Low Country Mud Duck event. It's the Low Country break in Walterboro, South Carolina. I'll be giving away two of these. That's going to the club, so they're going to do whatever they do, whether it's just whatever to help their club, maybe a raffle or something. But I'm not doing nothing with it. It's whatever helps their club. If you guys want to show up, it's in Walterboro, South Carolina. It's actually Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's already started now, but I'm not going to be able to not after New Orleans last weekend and go down there and stay there for a couple days. It's just too much. I can't do all that. But I definitely will go down and hang out on Saturday for a little bit, and hang out maybe a little bit Friday night if we can get there early enough. I'll be giving out some, if you guys say the right statement. I won't say it over and over again, because I don't want everybody and their brother saying it right away, and then the guys who really have been watching my videos missing their opportunity. But yeah, you can get hats and you can get shirts if you show up to these events. I gave I don't know, like 4 shirts out and 3 hats out in New Orleans. We got 3 hats and I think another 4 shirts to give out in Walterboro. Joliet, I'll get some out there too, but that Joliet's in July, so it'll be a minute for that one. Yes, I have the same username on YouTube, spelt the same way and everything. No apostrophe, no dash. You add the dash and you add the apostrophe on Facebook, and that's it. Now, I don't know what the heck I have the obsession with it for, but if any of you guys feel like following me somewhere, feel free to, of course, follow me on the regular stuff that you guys like. But if you guys feel like following me somewhere, go to daggum X and follow me, because I am not a part of any radio community on X, and man, I don't know, it's been dead over there. But then again, I don't know what the heck groups to join, what the heck things to be a part of, and stuff like that, just to be able to allow it to kind of rotate on some sort of For You like TikTok does, or some sort of feed like YouTube does, and stuff like that. The trending page on YouTube, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, if you feel like it, I got Twitch, I've got X, I've got Kick, I think I got Trovo, I've got mainly the most ones though is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Mostly TikTok and Facebook. YouTube is definitely a thing. I've had a bunch of guys that'll hop in there and watch, but it's just something about YouTube and followers, man. YouTube takes forever to build a following. I don't know how many people. I only had like 30 people in my YouTube a couple months ago, and I had like 7,000 people join in, and I got like, I don't know, whatever, a couple more people that followed me, but it's only up to like 200 now. Now TikTok is probably the fastest growing one. I had TikTok maybe a month and a half now, and I've already got over 1 million people that got to see that the key down in New Orleans, so that's always nice. jumpers for? These jumpers are for a donation. They're for an event that's going to be happening in Walterboro, South Carolina. I try to support any sort of communications events. I can't really do any support for like a big ham fest like Dayton, except for to show videos and show you guys what you're missing, and you guys can go there. So that would be my promotion on Dayton. But these smaller events, they don't really need the extra traffic. Yeah, sure, they can have the extra traffic, but they really need the support for the club. So that's what I'm doing. I'm donating a couple jumpers to the event. These jumpers, if you were to buy them, cost you $84 a piece to get them. And I'm donating them to that so they can raffle them off, do whatever the heck they want with them. So that is going to, like I said, Walterboro, South Carolina. I call them jumpers. There's a coaxial cable. So you, I do apologize because I have all walks of life that hop in on my TikTok and my YouTube and Facebook. And the majority of the guys that follow me know what I'm talking about. But the ones that don't, yeah, these Nipex things are awesome, man, for sure. I love these things. These little 5 inches are nice. But the majority of people know what I'm talking about, but the ones that don't, I apologize. If you guys got questions, feel free to ask. But like I said, this is a coaxial jumper. It transfers RF signal from one side to the other. These are mainly used in aerospace and aeronautics, so they're airplanes and stuff like that. But they can be adapted for use in HF frequencies and things like that, from 2 to 30 megahertz. You can go all the way up to VHF with them. You can do a lot with them. Now, don't do long runs. You can use them for what I call jumpers. Just short runs is what you'd call it. Between your equipment and like your watt meter and stuff like that. But yeah, that is. They are kind of expensive because these are Teflon. So the connectors themselves are Teflon. The wire is what's called a fluoropolymer. It's good. I mean, I'll grab a random link just to show you guys because I can. What do I got over here? Let's grab something. So I can grab this right here, which is a piece of coax, right? And I can take this torch and I could run all up and down this coax within a reasonable amount of time. I mean, if I go too long, for sure, it can be a problem. But it didn't melt the coax. The whole coax is still fine. It's in good shape. My hands are used to the heat, but it is smoking hot. But it's still fine. It can handle a lot of heat. If I did that with, say, this PVC cable right here, this thing would literally start melting immediately. I don't know if everybody can see that, but it looks like this right here. That cable would melt right away. But yeah, that's just part of it. Is it an 18-inch roof antenna a lightning hazard? No, it is not a lightning hazard. I've run dozens, if not, I don't know, I've run for years with no ground. Lightning is very, very finicky. What it wants to do is it wants to hit with what's called the highest potential difference. So typically, if you have tree here, and then house down here, it's going to hit the tree almost every single time before it hits the house. If you have house here, tree down here, tree down here, tree down there, then what you want to do is try to make the house have the least amount of potential difference. What you'll do in that situation is you'll make sure you have plenty of ground, you'll make sure you have a lot of static drain, things like that. If you throw a tower up, just the wind going through it, it builds up static. So lightning, a lot of people think lightning strikes down. It doesn't. It comes from the bottom up. So the potential difference is what kills things a lot of times. That's what allows that's what allows for the lightning strike to happen. But no, an 18-inch antenna is not going to cause problems just because it's an 18-inch antenna. That's just not. It's not the case. Let's go. Any more questions real quick before we call it an evening? Appreciate you guys on Facebook. Appreciate you guys on YouTube. I wish you guys on YouTube would talk a little bit more, but if you guys got questions, y'all feel free to ask anytime. I don't mind answering. If you guys have more questions on TikTok, I will answer questions until you guys are done. I'll keep it going for just a little bit longer because I need to get a little further along anyway. So I'm going to do something else real quick since I'm here, and we might as well. This is 1/2 inch flex. This is a more of a base station style coax. It's used in a environment where you're going to be operating it stationary. So now it can be put in a mobile and things like that, but it's just typically not done because the flexibility of this is definitely still very flexible. It'll move and wiggle and do whatever it needs to do, but it kind of stays still wherever it goes. Where this coax right here, I mean, it's super flexible. Kind of ironic when this coax is called super flex. All right, we've got no heat shrink, so I'll put our heat shrink on here. We're going to get our caliper, which is hiding over here. Bow dog, hope you have a good night. Appreciate you, man. If you guys got questions or anything like that, y'all guys let me know. I'm going to do a quick jumper on this and just put it together just so I can be further along. I want to be done before cheaper flex for 2K jumper. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I'd still stick with something like RG400. I've got some 1/4 inch flex, but you don't save a lot of money. I mean, 1/4 inch flex is still like $3 a foot. So it ain't like you save money versus 1/2 inch flex. Unless you just want 1/4 inch flex, I don't see much point. Hello, YouTube. You guys are, a bunch of you guys are hopping in there. What's the best mobile radio for clarity? I have trouble with static. Depends on what frequency. If it's GMRS, then it would be different than the answer for HF. If it's just a trucker radio or something like that, then my answer would be different there too. So it just depends on what you're operating. What frequency you're wanting to do it for. Now, I will probably admit that I would say my experience with GMRS is low, so I would probably pick, I don't know what I would pick with GMRS. I guess if you could find a Motorola that does the same frequency is what I'd probably grab. That's what I would probably shoot for. The Biofangs are less filtered than other ones, but they are cheap. So, let me close this up just a little bit on the pliers. There we go. Now, I want to cut this a little bit of extra. There we go. The extra is off. Don't gotta worry about that. Alright, so we have a bunch of different papers in here. It shows you from step by step what it would recommend to do. You can use the handy dandy fancy little drill tool, but you know about not many people want to spend $280 just to do one $20 end, because these ends are only 20 bucks. But it calls for $28. That's what I thought. So, why not just use cell phones? Problem with the cell phone is the cell phone uses a relay tower. So the whole identity and purpose of anybody in communications, for the most part, now of course there's some different guys that at like FT8 and a bunch of different guys that kind of are the exception. There's people that do the digital data modes where and the people that do it on their computers and stuff like that that have different motivations for their hobby. But most guys are preparing for emergency communications. Now, whether or not they want to use it as such, that's up to them and that's their prerogative. But the whole appeal to communications, especially when you're doing something other than like your 2 meter and stuff, when you go to your 10 meter, maybe your 6 meter, your 80 meter, big time your 80 meter, is the ability to talk wherever you want with your own station, not having to talk to a cell phone tower, not having to talk to a repeater or something else. It puts you in a really liberating situation. So you're not stuck figuring out what the heck's going on. Say there was some major event happened or something like that, and here you are, your cell phone's down, you ain't got no service. Stuff like Hurricane Helene, they lost service about, I think it was 11 hours before the bad weather actually came in. As far as like the big, huge historic flooding, there was already flooding, but the historic stuff was kind of like a flash flood, so it caught a lot of these people off guard. They didn't know. They didn't think the river could go up that high, and they didn't have their phone, their emergency alerts and stuff like that. They didn't work. All their emergency alerts went off like 3 days later after their cell phones came back on. So yeah, it's definitely not the best thing to try to rely on your cell phone for every single thing. Now, for most stuff, sure, have fun with it. I mean, everybody's on the cell phone right now, or either on a laptop or something like that, and it's serving a really good purpose until it doesn't. So that's the reason we have an alternate form of communications. Now, are there other alternate forms? Sure. There's other people that still will facilitate the use and the hobby of homing pigeons. Yeah, sure. That's a way to communicate when the grid's down, no matter what, or a hurricane comes through, bad weather comes through, whatever. But like I said, if you don't have it, then you can't prepare for it. So yeah, that's the answer. It's a little bit of a long answer, but that's the answer for why not just use a cell phone. You're welcome to use a cell phone if you want, but I will not be the one. I'm a big time person. I'll carry extra tires with me. I'll carry extra batteries. I'll carry parts and all kinds of stuff. I'm doing all kinds of things to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I've got the extras set up for it. So I like if I'm hauling my trailer across country and we're going on one of our trips, because we're planning a pretty big trip here come next year to explore the U.S. I won't be doing that on video. You guys won't see any of that. But that's a really big event. That's a big thing that we're planning on doing, and I'm going to be bringing a radio with me for sure. I'll be talking to the truckers, figuring out what's going on with the traffic, figuring out where. Now, I probably won't be worried too much about where the police are at, but I definitely will try to figure out where the backups are at and things like that. It works as an excellent communications tool when you're talking to the truck drivers up and down the road. If you get on the some of the HF frequencies, I'm sure there's some hams that will be near the interstate. You could talk to them. But now, I would absolutely advocate, and I don't care what ham dude tells you, what extra class technician, general class operator, doesn't matter which operator you're dealing with. And I don't care if they're an RF engineer. If they tell you to drive up and down the road and operate with just a HF rig and not your regular just 11 meter rig, they are smoking something. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. And this is my opinion, so anybody else can have an opinion too. You're welcome to it. But I'm not going to be driving up and down the interstate trying to talk to on HF, on 2 meter or 80 meter or whatever. I'll be talking on literally the CB, because that's where the truckers are at. Now, could I carry an HF rig along with me? For sure, absolutely. It's always better to have more choices than have less. And then in an absolute emergency situation, it doesn't matter what's going on. If something crazy has happened, nobody's going to care what frequency you're on. So even if you're not, this is kind of something. It's okay to have something for emergencies. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm still going to advocate for that, no matter who you are. Now, if you want to talk on it in the meantime, sure, get your license, get some stuff, and make it happen. And then you can use it driving up and down the road. You can use it for a base station. You can use it for whatever you want. There's lots of stuff to have fun on every frequency. But again, if you're up and down the interstate, you're using it for travel all day long, every single day. I'm always going to tell you to stick with just a regular, just any sort of CB. Don't matter what it is. There is definitely a community of truckers that use it, and there's absolutely a community of truckers that don't. So it just depends. If they're hauling oversized, they're legally required to have it. As far as the absolute quantity, there's definitely a resurgence happening as far as on just the CB specifically. I mean, literally 1 million people watched the daggum video that I just posted last weekend. So yeah, there's definitely a resurgence there. Now maybe not 1976 levels like Convoy and freaking Smokey and the Bandit and stuff, where every single person had it in their cars. But for guys that want to have, like, don't want to have a repeat of Hurricane Helene, or want to figure out what the heck's happening when they're driving up and down the interstate, yeah, there's definitely going to be guys that's getting back into the CB, or already has it. There's celebrities out there that's got radios in their car driving up and down the interstate. One specific one is Mike Rooker, the dude Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, or I think it's Merle from Walking Dead. That dude runs a radio driving up and down the interstate. I had 3 CBs in my truck and hardly ever hear anyone. Sometimes I hear someone on channel 13, 22. Good Lord, if you haven't heard that many people, you need to definitely check on your SWR, because there is, if you don't hear locals, there's skip all day long. Now, I will tell you, as far as up and down the interstate, I would say you have to be the talk show. You have to be the one that starts the conversation. It's not going to be one of those situations where you got 10 truckers out there on 19 talking on the radio. That just doesn't happen. Not anymore. There's too many distractions. They're watching TikTok live videos. They're watching Facebook live videos. They're watching talking on the joining the lives and talking to each other. They're talking on their phone on a party chat. They're calling their wife. Some of them are watching TV literally while they're driving down the road. Other ones are listening to the radio. I mean, there's a million and one things to be distracted on when you're driving down the road versus what they used to be back years ago. So yeah, absolutely, there's definitely less people that's actually talking on the radio, but not necessarily as small of a crowd as you think it is, especially if you get enough to start talking back to these guys, or a good enough setup to. Alright, I'm going to do one more, and then we'll call it a night. You guys got me talking about some stuff. SWR's at 1 on the Cobra, just hardly ever hear anyone. Yeah, to be honest, I'm going to tell you something else. Driving up and down the road, if you're trying to compete with Heterodyne, kind of compete with Skip, to be honest, for emergency use, I wouldn't recommend to ever stay at again, your choice. You do what you want, but I would say the majority of operators on the CB band driving up and down the interstate are not running 4 watts. Let's just say that much. They might be running 4 1/4 watts and a little bit more. But it's just so hard to compete with Heterodyne with something like that, especially when you're undermodulated in a major way. You don't get a lot of responses. You have to have something that's got a good level of modulation to go through it. And if you don't, I mean, you just get lost in the Heterodyne. Because 11 meters is actually a really good skip talking frequency. A lot of the HF guys that are purely HF that weren't a CBer before, or that have, I guess, for whatever reason, written off CBers and call them chicken banders and stuff, even though they used to be a chicken bander themselves. Those guys, they will cry the blues because 11 meters has got one of the best skip talking frequencies there is, or best, you call it skip talking on that band, but on other bands you call it DX frequencies, or the band is open quite a lot on 11 meters. It's some of the best E-layer sporadic E-skip that you can get. Alright, propagation. Depends on what lingo you're talking to. You can imagine, I gotta talk to everybody, so I gotta use lingo that everybody understands. Uh, 11 meter is CB. So CB is the 11 meter band. So 11 meters is a physical frequency. It's not, it's a physical length. And every frequency is a physical length. So 80 meters is specifically 80 meters. A full wave at on the 80 meter band is 80 meters long. A half wave is 40 meters long. A quarter wave, so on and so forth, 20 meters long. So anybody wants to know how long an antenna is, it's literally based off the meters. Now, there is something called, in Coax, it's called velocity factor, and free air, it's technically still velocity factor. It's the speed that RF will slow down through a specific dielectric, and air is a dielectric too. A vacuum is the only thing that's not a dielectric. So let's cut this booger back and get to work. But yeah, no, I would, I'm from Georgia. No, 3 foot increments has been, if you're, now, this is going to specific CB lore here. We're going back to the 1976 CB days right here with this conversation. 3 foot increments has been a myth for, I mean, I used to say 30 years, but it's actually more like 50 years now, since the 70s. They skipped the whole step of math. There's no such thing as 3 foot increments. It doesn't exist. There's no scenario where 3 foot increments is where it needs to be. There is some nuance to some of those measurements. Depends on what depends on what you're doing. But no, there's no situation where you need 3 foot increments, and that's with anything. You need to go for velocity factor if you're trying to actually go for the mono-banded setup, and you need to go for a tuner if you're going to go with a multi-banded setup, because the tuner will tune your reactance out of the system, and ideally will make your feed point more accurate. Alright, so now I had to knock some of this jacket out of here. Alright, more questions. What else you gotta know? What do you think of those 100 watt linears and radios? That's the one folks back in the day selling. I have no problems with it as long as you can make them clean. Go for spectral purity. That's what you're going for. You're not going for something that's going to make a bunch of harmonics. There's a way to you can make harmonics on an LD MOS rate, on an LD MOS palette. So it doesn't matter what it is specifically. You can make harmonics on anything. But if you're going to talk up and down the road, then I would definitely recommend to go a bit more than just a 4 watt receiver. Just being honest, especially if it's important and you really need it for traffic information. Now, you don't necessarily always have to use it, but at least you have that switch in case an emergency ever came up. If you get stuck in the bottom of a hill and you're literally, say there's somebody at the tail of the dragon, which is a bunch of switchback curves up in the mountains. One of the curviest roads in the world. I'm not sure about the world. Maybe in the United States. Could be in the world. Don't know. But people drive that all the time. They'll speed up and down that road, go way too fast. And let's say you're minding your own business and you're going up the tail of the dragon and somebody comes through 90 mile an hour in your lane. You jerk over and here you going off the side of a cliff. Bam, 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 bam. And you land all the way in the bottom of the gully. If you don't have an opportunity or a chance even, maybe you had a radio in there. Maybe the battery is still hooked up and the battery hadn't come off and the radio is still powered on. Key the microphone. Maybe you got a chance of getting your name getting your name heard out there and somebody actually helping you get out of the hole. Doesn't mean you're going to get that happen, but it's just more likely. It gives you a better chance. Or say you go to the bottom of a hole down by the river or something like that, and you're in a national forest. There ain't no service down there. And with anything CB, it's line of sight. Anything with GMRS, and you start moving up into the 2 meter and stuff, you get a massive amount of what's called absorption. So it doesn't like to travel through obstructions very well. So you'd be better off like towards either your 80 meter, or most likely in that situation still, I'd probably say, depending on where you're at, still I would say CB for emergencies, because there's just a bigger pool of people that you have a chance of talking to. Now, if you're smart, then just prepare for all of it and bring all your antennas. Don't matter if you got 10 antennas up on the roof. But 80 meters, the biggest problem with it is to make any sort of resonant antenna. It's not possible to do without doing some sort of coil, because an 80 meter system is exactly what I told you earlier. A quarter wave, even a quarter wave at 80 meter is still 20 meters. 20 meters is physically 20 meters. So you times that by 3.2808 and you actually get how many feet that is. You're talking about 60 plus feet. There's no 60 foot long antenna you can put on your car. That doesn't exist. So it makes it a lot harder for that stuff to work. So you'll have to run an antenna outside of its intended operation. You'll have to run an antenna that might not be optimized as much for its application. And like I said, there's always nuance to stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff to discuss when you're talking about emergency communications. Alright. Use a body of water as a ground plane. Yeah, other people have done it before. Hop on top of a bridge and try it. On top of a bridge and having that reference away from ground, where you've gotten multiple wavelengths up in the air, that seems to have a very good positive effect on signal. Alright, any more questions, guys? You got questions while we're doing this? This is my last end. So if you guys want to ask your questions, speak now or forever hold your peace until I go live again, I guess. Let me hop over here and let me see if I answered everybody on Facebook real quick. You TikTokers were asking a lot of stuff. Facebook. YouTube's got a bunch of people in there, but man, these guys are just, I appreciate you guys on TikTok. You guys are making this thing way less boring. I like the YouTube guys, and I always appreciate the views, but man, sometimes it feels like you're talking to yourself. Especially if nobody says a single comment in there. It's like YouTube's hard to comment on. It's like maybe it's on a reel or something like that, and it's really hard to actually get in there and click a comment. I don't really know, to be honest. I scrolled on YouTube, but I never really hopped in lives too much on YouTube, so I don't have any comment on what it's like. Now this is what's called a 7/16 DIN end. This is used a lot in telecom and broadcast. So it's a very good end that does a really good job. It's actually a true 50 ohm connector, where UHF is technically a 52 ohm connector. It and the N type are made pretty well. They do a good job. But UHF, which is so common, it's crazy. I like UHF though, it's fine. Alright, any other questions, any other things you want to say? Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching the video. I hope I kind of helped you guys out and told you guys some cool stuff. Maybe you learned some more. Hopefully you come check out the swap meet in Walterboro, South Carolina on the live, or either come to the actual event. That would be great. If you guys want to know about the events, I post them on my RF Supply page on Facebook. I think you'd have to go back to January to see the last post I did of all the events coming up. I do not have the Hamfest yet. I will have the Hamfest soon, but we'll get into that later. Appreciate you guys. You guys got questions, y'all feel free to holler and ask me anything you like. I'm open book when it comes to this stuff. Hello, YouTube. Hope you guys are doing well. Y'all have a good evening. You have a good evening out there on Facebook. I am finishing up for the evening. We'll go ahead and call it an evening. All right. See ya. I'll be back live probably on Friday night or either Saturday. And then now, see you guys later.